Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Scranton Knights football. Jacob Watts, a senior-to-be, getting ready here as the summer heats up. And, of course, Jacob's been heating up in his career for the Scranton Knights. Jacob, welcome into the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk about your summer so far, getting ready and preparing for your senior season there for the Knights.
I've been to 2 football camps so far. I was at Lawrence First and Goal with about 300 schools there. I was just recently this weekend at Pitt for football camp, going out for tight end and linebacker, actually. And, we had our spring practice last month with the team for 2 weeks. And other than that, I've just been working out in the weight room as much as I could.
Let's talk about that size of you, because you look like a man when you're out there on the field amongst the boys. Tell us how big you are right now.
Right now I'm at about 238, 6'2 and a half.
All right, well, you look pretty darn solid. Let's talk about learning that quarterback position over the last couple of years at Scranton.
It was a big transition. I had a great amount of coaches help me with it. Definitely made the transition go smoothly. I've been working with a guy, Ryan Runko, for the past couple of months, since January actually, and he's definitely made it a lot better for me.
And Jacob, as far as that projection, you mentioned at Pitt what they're looking at. Who are some of the schools in the mix for you, and what position are they actually looking at?
Right now, there's about 27 looking at me, but no offers yet. I have Pitt looking at me for a tight end and linebacker, like I said. Penn State's looking at me for tight end and maybe a halfback. Iowa State's looking at me for quarterback. Albany for quarterback. Holy Cross also for quarterback. It's hard to remember all of them off the top of my head.
That's a pretty good list, though.
Yes, sir.
And how much of that do you keep in check? Because I'm sure coaches, they have their time where they could reach out to you, contact you. I'm sure you're getting, whether it's emails or letters or what have you. But you kind of keep that all in perspective with everything going on in your life as well?
I do, yes. Every new coach I add into my phone right away, and I add the school onto a list I have, actually.
Jacob, you talk about that drive you have as a football player. Talk about what you love about the game.
Oh, my God. What's there not to love? I just love everything about it. The team, you have to be a team to win. It's not like any other sport where you can have one dominant player and you're pretty much set. The camaraderie building, new friendships, just everything about it.
How about your coaches there at Scranton? Tell us a little about Coach Marichek and the other coaches you have at Scranton.
Coaches at Scranton are great. They're so personal. They get to know you. They text you whenever you have a problem. If you have a bad game, they make sure you keep your head up. They know the games. They've been in it forever, too, so that's also a plus. But, they're great guys. I love them.
You talk about your teammates and trying to get on the same page, whether you say, hey, let's head down to the stadium and get some throws in today. Let's go run around a little bit. I'm sure there's some bonding you guys have to try to get better, both on the field and then off the field as well.
Absolutely. We're great friends on and off the field. We have each other's number. We talk on a daily basis for the most part. Whenever we feel we need to get better, we go down to the field on our own whenever it's open, or we'll just go in the backfield and do as much as we could. We're in the weight room every day with each other, so it's always bonding going on.
Jacob, being at a city school like Scranton, I'm sure you get to see and get to live a little bit of what some of these kids may be going through, some challenging times, whether it's with their family or maybe they're having some trouble in some of their studies, or maybe even athletically not as talented as maybe some other kids. How do you guys try to pick each other up knowing that everybody's got a little different situation?
We just sit together and we don't really judge. We just use constructive criticism. You know what I mean? We make sure whatever's happening, we just keep everybody up. We don't want anybody down on the team. Come whenever somebody's down, brings the whole team down. We just try to stay as positive as we could and try to work on whatever's a problem.
Jacob, let's talk a little bit about your family and trying to make sure. I'm sure they're your biggest fans out there rooting for you, making sure
Absolutely.
You're trying to do the right things as well.
My mother, first of all, she does whatever it takes to get me to training. Whatever's possible to make me better. Obviously, my stepdad, as you know, William Cottrell, he's a maniac when it comes to me getting better. He'll do also whatever it takes. He'll go to the farthest extent as it takes. My little brother, he looks up to me, so it's important that I always do the right thing, and my parents make sure of that. But my family is always there for me. Whether it's my grandmother, my Uncle Charlie, they come out to whatever need be.
Jacob, how about a business major in college? Have you narrowed it down to something?
I'm thinking marketing, and the schools that are really good for it, I heard from looking online, and coaches telling me are pretty much so far Boston College and Albany right now. I looked into them. They have great business majoring.
Well, Albany has put a dent in the recruiting area here in northeastern Pennsylvania, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But your stock is going up, and it'll be interesting to see where you may end up. And looking forward to seeing you on the field there for Scranton in the fall, so we wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Senior quarterback to be Jacob Watts here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.